Now, the Defense Headquarters say over 6,886 terrorists were neutralized in several operations across the geopolitical zones in 2023. The statistics are part of the report in an overview of the Joint Task Force operational activities carried out within the year. The report names the predominant security threats as Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic State of West African Province terrorism in the north, the independent people of Biafra in the east, while economic saboteurs reigned in the southern and southwest of Nigeria. Some enablers of the insecurity are the proliferation of small and light weapons, preponderance of local weapons fabricators, and large ungoverned spaces. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, noted that the military also arrested and sanctioned some of its personnel caught colluding with terrorists.
Now, during the period January to December 2023, troops neutralized over 6,880 terrorists and other combatants across the theaters. Troops arrested over 6,970 persons involved in terrorism and violent extremism. Troops also rescued over 4,480 kidnapped hostages, as well as recovered over 3,300 assorted weapons and recovered over 39,000 assorted ammunition during the year.
Security and Crime Management Consultant Stephen Okwori is with me in the studio. It's good to see you, Stephen, and thanks for your time. This is a lot on our plate, ending the year on a low in terms of security. What exactly do you think is happening?
Yeah, thank you for having me. A lot is happening from what we have been seeing from the beginning of this year to date. We've been seeing attacks, bandits or criminal elements either killing or kidnapping people and collecting ransoms and the likes. All these are expected. A philosopher said that if we expect a crime-free society, then we are looking at, we are hoping for something that is not possible, because a crime-free society is impossible, you know. So with that, we expect that our law enforcement and the government should be on their toes, you know, to see that these issues are tackled head-on, you know. For instance, the Plateau incidents that we saw during the Christmas Eve, you know, it is not new. These things have been happening for almost 2 decades. This year, 2023 alone, we've seen that there were attacks in the month of January, February, March, up till this December, you know. Some couple of months ago, when it happened the last time, the IGP was there, you know. He met with victims. And after his interaction with the victims, when I saw the news, I was not in support of it. What I mean not in support now is that he only met with victims. The attackers were not there. It wasn't a case of 2 warring communities or 2 warring individuals. If it was 2 warring individuals or 2 warring communities and he met them, you know, peace would have broken out, you know. But in this instance, he only met with victims. The attackers, the perpetrators, were nowhere to be found. So having spoken to the victims, what were the measures that he put in place after the visit? You
know, Stephen, sorry to cut you here, because look at this new story, yes. Another attack in Budel community, also in Boko's area. And the chairman said, well, they were in luck that security came to repel them, but not one arrest.
That's the challenge. And that is why we keep asking these questions. Who are these people? Where are they from? Supposing there was an arrest, or perhaps 1 or 2 or 3 were killed, would have at least seen where, from their physical outlook, you know, would have known whether they are indigenes of the state, whether they are Fulanis, whether they are from, at least would have seen some features in them, at least to trace that this is where these certain categories of people are coming from. Why is it that each time they plan these attacks, they come, kill, they have their time, like the last one, over 24 hours, they were there. There was no response from the law enforcement. There was no reprisal attacks. They just killed people and left unkilled, unarrested. So my own is that why these things are happening, we should be looking at for solutions. We are aware of the challenges. Now, it is not about deploying operatives or manpower. What is it that they have put on ground to see that these attacks don't happen? Even if they happen, let us see that people that perpetrate these attacks are arrested.
Well, certainly, Stephen, that is why we're having this conversation, because
Yes.
I recall just on Thursday on Arise Prime Time, we had conversation with some of those people who are well, who have good knowledge about Plateau State. And some of the key concerns, it was also on the news yesterday, someone had said that he identified one of the assailants. We know we are not privy to everything that the security does,
Exactly.
but shouldn't they be speaking on account of arrest so that at least this can put some sort of peace within the community?
Very well. Now, when attacks like this happen, what we expect is an investigation. Investigation will unravel what really played out, where the people are coming from and the likes. Now, how do you now achieve this? In achieving this, you and I know that these attacks happen in our hinterlands, in our very rural communities where there's no presence of security agents. Right now, so how do we now begin to move forward? I'm aware that we have the local vigilante group. I'm also aware that we have the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Service. Their bills establishing them has passed all the 3 stages at the National Assembly. They are before the president for accent. Now, in tackling this, I think that we have to go local. Local in the sense that our conventional security agents are not seen or to be found in these rural communities. But I beg both to say that we can have the presence of local vigilante and presence of national security, this Hunters Forest Association. Now, the members of these 2 local groups are made up of retired police officers, retired army officers. I was in the function of the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Service, sometimes about 2 months ago, where they had their annual program. That program is to let the Nigerians and the world know that there's an association like this that are familiar with our local terrain, our forest and all that. So also is applicable to our local vigilante. Why won't we now establish this? Let the president assent to the bill establishing this. Sorry, you are aware that the Homeland Security in the US was not in existence before. Why did they form that? Because of the 9/11 terror attack. So if the US can come up with an organization to see that so attacks in the area of terror don't happen anymore, or even if it happens, it should be at a very minimal level. Why won't we now establish something like that to take care of
the governor of Sokoto State, Governor Ali, has just signed into law the Sokoto Community Guard Corps.
Yes.
He says it's not to replace the police, but it sort of reminds us of what is happening in Nigeria's southwest, Amotekun. And the president also, during his campaigns, had promised to bring back the forest guards.
Yes.
So how helpful would these be in the fight against banditry and other forms of terror?
Very helpful. It is the right way to go. But my own view about that is not just forming such an organization. They should be armed. You don't expect them to go after criminal elements that are sophisticatedly armed. They move about with bags of ammunition, and you expect them to go with bare hands or ordinary sticks or batons. It can work. So whatever law that they have put in place in the Sokoto State now, establishing that security outfit, they should be seen that they are also armed, because if they are not armed, it cannot work. It cannot work. And just the way the governor said, is to complement the effort of our law enforcement agents. What we are saying here, security is everybody's responsibility. It's everybody's business. Nigerians are kidnapped on daily basis. Ransoms are paid. Nigerians are killed on daily basis. We are all vulnerable. The common objective of our law enforcement is one, to see that Nigeria is secured, citizens are protected. Now, it's clearly shown that they cannot carry this or do this alone. They need all the efforts of both uniform and people that are not on uniform.
And before I let you go, what's the place of the NSA in all of this? Because the communities have also said that they have a modus operandi, yes, and it is attack, sack, and occupy.
Yes.
So how is it difficult that a country as great as Nigeria can't ask new faces, new occupants, who they are when these things does occur?
It's unfortunate that I haven't heard the NSA said anything in this regard. I haven't read anywhere where he made a comment with what has happened in the Plateau. You know, well, I think that...
No, he was with the vice president on the visit.
Oh, yeah, but a personal statement coming from him, I haven't heard, you know. Perhaps, just the way I said, I haven't heard. But I want to believe that he's making efforts wherever he is, because his office, to see that Nigeria is protected, you know. But the fact of the matter is, community policing, I think, is a way to go to add to what I've said, where members of the community know who comes into their community. And in carrying out this, there should be strategic communication between whoever sees an intruder into their community to be communicated to the law enforcement. Then we expect a swift response.
All right, guys, Stephen Okwori, I think this is a fine place for us to leave it. I'd like to thank you for your time. Yeah.